Like I said, this topic of social media is a mystery to all of us, but it's really a mystery to those of us in the senior living space. And I was recently at a meeting at JK Moving, which is a positive aging community champion and a moving company that has literally had a focus on older adults for over 30 years. I've been in this business for 30 years and I've had a relationship with them, and they are very focused on older adults, but they're also focused on the entire world. Every demographic group that will make a move, JK is there. And I had the great pleasure to sit down with Michelle Cordero and chat about an event that we were planning together. And when we started talking about social media, because this is her full-time job, I realized how much I don't know, and invited her on after we had our last Marketing Masterminds discussion, and I saw how many social media questions were there. So I'm going to welcome Michelle to the stage, and Michelle, just unmute and hit your video button there. Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
And we're going to dive into this discussion, and in some of you who responded via email, we're definitely going to have a little bit more of a focus on short form video on this discussion, but we're going to try to make it all encompassing for social media. But before we dive into that, Michelle, let's get to know you a little bit better. Share with us a little bit about your background and what led to your role there at JK Moving.
Yeah, so I started with JK in January. We have seen a lot of growth since I've started. We actually just had our first viral reel last month. It has about 500,000 views. So that was something that I wasn't sure, can a moving company go viral? Yes, we can. And then prior to that, my career was actually in digital marketing in politics. I was on Capitol Hill for about 15 years. But in addition to that, I have 2 small businesses that I run entirely on Instagram, and I pick up a ton of insights and how to pick up prospects and drive leads via Instagram there.
I love it. What a varied path that you have,
Yes.
Which is wonderful. And I think, your sort of thoughts on can a moving company go viral are very relevant to the senior living space, because, so many of us are sort of like, oh, geez, is social media, is it really worth the energy? Because, again, stereotype, older adults are not necessarily online, but we all know their children are, and actually older adults are online. It's one of those myths, but I know I'm babbling here.
No.
You've got a slide deck, and I want to remind everybody that we're gonna dive into this, but and this is very interactive. So if you've got questions, throw them in. If you've got comments, if you've got ideas, this is a space where we can all share and we can all become better in terms of learning what we don't know or sharing what we know with each other, and rise the tide here. So if you want to kick off your slide deck, we'll dive right into this.
Yep, and I'll count on you to let me know if there's a question.
That's what I'm going to do. I'll probably break in a few times or what have you, and but we'll kick this off, and then I definitely have some stuff to share, because I was in the same boat. It's like I'm never going to go viral in senior living, and I'll share.
Never say never.
My little viral thing. So
awesome.
All
right. Let me get this open.
Then screen. Yep, there you go.
And then we went to
I think at the left, from beginning.
Display settings.
And then we did display settings. Yeah.
How's that look?
Yep, that looks great. Okay,
great. Okay. Yeah, so as we said, Michelle Cordero, Senior Social Media and Content Manager at JK Moving. And today we're going to talk about first the social media landscape. I'm just going to run through the three major platforms, at least that I see as the three major platforms. We're going to talk about trends, which happens to be short form video. Then I'm going to, it's actually going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about how to reach your specific audience. And I have some examples, some that I pulled from social media and some that I created myself. And then definitely want to leave it up to lots of question and answer sessions. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I wanted to start with LinkedIn because I know that that's a place where a lot of people feel most comfortable. And LinkedIn is one of the most prominent professional networking platforms. It has over 930 million users as of April 2023. So I kind of break down in this landscape session here, pros and cons for each potential platform. I think that LinkedIn is great for showcasing your skills and your experience. And it's a great place to connect with employers and colleagues and experts. I do, however, feel that LinkedIn can feel cold and it lacks sort of an emotional element to drive B2C leads. It's primarily known as a job-seeking platform. People go there when they're looking for a job or when they want to connect with someone or grow their network for potential job leads, not for potential customers. And just 16% of users log in on a daily basis. That's very low. Onto Facebook, another place that people feel very comfortable. I myself have one of my small businesses has a page on Facebook. Facebook continues to be one of the most widely used social media networks worldwide. It has almost 3 billion monthly active users as of 2023. One of the pros that I put for Facebook for this particular group is that the demographics, the users tend to skew older, which is good for you guys. And you can cross post to Instagram. So whatever you post on Facebook automatically ports over to Instagram and you're killing two birds with one stone. A con, though, is as of July 2023, reports say that the average engagement rate of an organic Facebook post is down to just 1.5%. This is because Facebook has begun prioritizing mainly personal connections, family and friends. This happened when Facebook started to get they got into a little bit of trouble, I think, about politics, and they really wanted to shift away from working with businesses as much and make it a place just to connect with family and friends. So if they're not your family and friend, if you're not posting, kids' first day at school or wedding photos, it's going to be harder to reach a customer in the algorithm. All right. And then that brings us to Instagram. Last month, Instagram reported having 2.3 billion users. And despite having less users than Facebook, not that much less, but less users than Facebook, Instagram has a 23% better engagement rate, according to HubSpot. It's viewed as a discovery app. It's a place to find new brands, places, and events, and it's great for prospecting. I say that it's easy to use, and I mean that in comparison to other video platforms, for example, TikTok. And yes, Instagram is now considered a video platform. They used to be mainly for aesthetically pleasing photographs, and that has really changed. And just like with Facebook, because it's part of Meta, you can cross-post content. So whatever you post to Instagram, if that's your primary platform, it would port over to Facebook. And then the big con, which is what we're going to talk about today, is short form video / reels that dominate the algorithm. That's where Instagram is really focusing right now. Can be very intimidating. It's hard to know where to start. It's hard to know what to film. It's hard to know how to make that do well. So that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Before I get into that, though, I want to highlight to you guys that it's not just me saying that short form videos are where it's at. It's everywhere. According to HubSpot's latest marketing strategy and trends report, short form video content will continue to be popular through 2023, with 90% of global marketers increasing or maintaining their investment in short form video. And this has been going on, I would say, for the past 3 years. Short form video has been exploding, and I don't see it stopping. I think trends change really quickly in social media, and a year from now we might be talking about something different, but I don't think so. I think short form video is here to stay for at least another couple years. The top marketing trends of 2023, the first 3 have to do with, they all lead back to short form video. The first one obviously is short form video. Influencer marketing that will continue to grow is all based on short form video. And then branded social media DM tactics are growing. And that's because people are getting so much more reach with their short form videos that you need to have these special tools that help you work with prospects in your direct messages. Website SEO continues to shine, and then marketers will continue to humanize their brands. Short form video is a great way to humanize your brand. Okay, so what can short form video do for you? It's going to help you build out your personal brand. You're going to do this through several different formats of videos that you can produce, and it's going to help you explain who you are better than you ever have before. It's going to further establish your expertise, because when you talk about educational or entertaining things on these videos, you're going to prove that you know what you're talking about. And it's going to, via the algorithm and hashtags, connect you with new prospects, which is going to make you more money, which is always a good thing. I did some research before this presentation, and the senior living space is a wide open market via short form video on all platforms. There's tremendous growth for this audience in this space. If you have the courage to dive in and just take a shot at what I'm about to show you, I think you can see real growth. But it can be scary at first, but I'm going to walk you guys through it. Do we have any questions yet or anything so far, Steve?
Yeah. And I knew this question was going to come because I had the same question about a month ago. Okay. And Laura says, what exactly is short form video? And I know you're going to show some examples of that, but what is kind of the definition of a short form video?
I would define it as a video that is a minute or less, shot via cell phone, something really unproduced. It doesn't have to be unproduced. You could grab anything. You could grab a highly produced video and clip it down to a minute, and that can be considered short form video. So really simply just anything under a minute.
And now that I'm kind of like, you've opened my eyes to this world that I can't believe that I was ignoring it because it was right there in front of me, is that it's, in general, the short form videos that I'm drawn to, and that I think in the senior living space, we're all going to be drawn to, are very authentic, meaning that it's not the production element, it's the message that we're putting together. And folks, if you're at all intimidated about this, I'm going to show you like a video that I did. One, I was doing a short form video and I didn't even realize it. And then 2, one that Michelle and I did that was very easy, much more easy than I expected. And I've got some ideas for you all in the senior living space in this area as well. But okay, so that was we got that question out of the way there. And I think Laura, it'll get more clarified as we go on.
Yeah. And I really like what you said, Steve, about authenticity. I think that something important to highlight when you think about social media is that the more authentic your content looks, the more people are going to interact with it. People, when you try and put too much, a perfect example is what I call native post text or native text on screen. That's just using whatever app you're using. Use the tools that they give you to create your text. If you start using different fonts or fancy things, it starts to look a little overproduced and people feel like they're being sold to, and then they run away. But the more authentic you make it look, the more it humanizes the content and the more people are likely to interact with it.
And then you had a little social media speak in there when you're talking about the native app. And so, for example, like if you are going to try doing a video and posting it to Instagram, Instagram is the native app and they have editors in there that you can automatically use, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. And Instagram has recently put a ton of money into their video editing software that just comes with the app. And at the end of this, I'm going to give you some options of good tools to use, but one of them is just using Instagram's editing app. They actually prioritize your video and push you higher in the algorithm if you use their editing software.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up LinkedIn, because I'm a heavy LinkedIn user and I've learned a bunch of tricks in LinkedIn. And a lot of it is that these social media applications, they want you on their platform. So the more that you do, and they give you the keys to the castle, they tell you, use this, do this, and we're going to give you a boost. And they want you using their editor as opposed to some external editor.
Exactly.
But anyways, okay, so let's get back on track here. All right.
All right. Yeah, this is the fun part. And I think this is where it's really going to start to click and you guys will see what I'm talking about a little bit more. So I have 3 examples of short form videos that I say short form video that works. These are the types of videos you're going to want to create. And the first one I like to call the authority. And this one's very simple. It's a straight to camera video. It's educational, where you're the subject matter expert. They're tight, quick shots. You can kind of see when I hit play on this one that she has clipped out any ums or any spaces where she started to try and think of what she wanted to say. It's all very clear and concise. She has captions on the screen. Right at the top, she says what she's talking about. And she actually got, it's hard to believe she doesn't have that big of an account, but she got 14,000 likes on this, 14,000 shares, and almost 500,000 views.
From the minute you own your house to the minute you sell it, if you do anything in it, if you buy a new appliance, if you fix an outlet, if you buy a new light fixture, keep the receipt, the instructions that go with it, keep the details of when you did it, and put it in a folder. Create an encyclopedia to your home. It'll make selling your home in the future a whole lot easier. You can hand over the entire book to the next owner and they have a full record of everything you've done with the house. It makes disclosing easier, it makes the transaction smoother, and it makes the transition smoother.
So as you can see, I want you guys, as you're watching these, to try and think of, how could I do something like that? How could I take my subject area and talk about something? And it's as simple as sitting down on your couch with a ring light and your phone and giving them, straight talking points, making sure that you're the authority, you're the expert, and teaching them something. There are 2 important things. You either want to educate or entertain. And this one 100% is an educational short form video.
Yeah, and I like this, and again, putting my hat on for many of the people in the audience, since you've turned me on to this, I've really been thinking a lot about, think about the conversations that you have throughout the day, and especially think about the things that you're constantly repeating to people. Like, let's say that you're in a senior living community, and every time you do a tour, a certain question comes up, or a challenge, or maybe you've got a little secret sauce that you share with people that makes it easier for them to talk to their mom and dad about an elder care issue. Think about synthesizing that into a video. And here's the thing, the other thing about this is you don't need to post it right away. Like, you can sleep on this stuff. Like, have your coworker or your spouse, when you come home, just throw up the camera. Hey, let me just share this this tip that I've got, and gives you an opportunity to study it and look at it. And when you're ready to kind of do the final run, you're going to be more prepared.
Yeah, and something that I don't think I built in a specific place to talk about this, so I'm going to throw this out there right now, is I mentioned that I run 2 small businesses on Instagram, and I've also mentioned that Instagram's a great place to attract customers. And you may be thinking, Michelle, well, how does this translate into that? How does a video translate into a new customer, client, prospect, whatever you want to call it? And that comes from a call to action in your post text. So the text that you put underneath the video, you're literally going to say maybe a sentence about what you just talked about, and then say, comment senior living if you want more information from me. And then all they have to do is comment senior living, and that indicates to you, I'm going to go reach out to this person now because they want to know more from me. And then you can start a dialogue with them in your direct messages, in the messages on the app. And that's why I mentioned that the software that helps people interact with people in their direct messages, that's why it's exploding, because people are using this tactic and they really need help managing because they're getting so many direct messages from things like these videos.
Okay, excellent. And you're going to share that software with us at the end, right?
I don't have a good example of one to share yet. I think that's something that I wouldn't worry about that just yet, the software.
No, absolutely. Quite honestly, in our segment, any senior living community using Instagram as a marketing tool, you should be able to handle the volume of direct messages.
Absolutely.
Directly. And for those of you, so imagine this, instead of the person emailing you, you're now communicating on the Instagram platform, which gives that person a level of security that they're not going to be spammed by you. And it enables you to have a dialogue. Okay, sorry to interrupt, but I'm trying to take some of the things you're saying and just throw out what I know some of our senior living providers are going to relate to it.
Okay, so the next type of video, and these are really, really easy to make. I call them the relatable point of view. You take some sort of attractive B-roll. It can be panning your garden. It can be you went for a walk and you grabbed the sunset. We all have stuff that we capture and keep on our cell phone. And I bet you have a video that would work for this perfectly already on your phone. And then you, like I said, you utilize that call to action in the post text. You grab a trending audio, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, and you put this point of view on screen with the text. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and just see this one. That's it.
Wow.
1,000 likes.
That was
41,000 shares,
yeah.
24,000 views. And I'm sure they got lots of people who wanted to follow them or learn more about the RV. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like you can see where this is sort of like, it's, I love it. And here's the thing, folks. When Michelle started talking about short form video, I was sort of like, oh boy, no, that's not going to work for senior living. And then what I found was I was watching all the for the last year, I've been watching the short form video. I've been attracted to it like a magnet. When I ever get on my social media, I just hadn't been doing it myself. And that's a real testament to how effective this is that you don't really feel like you're, it's enjoyable. I mean, it's educational too, as you've, and relatable, so, all right, let's see. What else do we have now?
There's one more type, and then I'll dive into the examples that I've made for you guys on how you can attract your audience.
Got it.
Okay, so the last type is really easy, another educational short form video. Again, you take that attractive B-roll and you just put text on the screen. You try and get them with a hook. As long as you're offering value and a call to action, it'll be successful. So we'll just play this one. That's it.
Wow. And, that was so quick. It was hard for me to read it.
So that's a tactic there.
Okay.
They put it on there because then you're going to have to watch it again. And then you're going to have to watch it again. And you're going to have to watch it again so that you can get all 5 points. It keeps people watching longer. The longer that someone's watching your video, the more you can keep them on your screen or on your account, the more the algorithm is going to prioritize your video and tell the little algorithm bots, hey, boost this one up further. It's doing well. People are watching it longer.
Okay. And let's see, speaking of algorithms, Beatrice asks, which one boosts you for editing on their platform? I think we were talking about Instagram.
Instagram, yes.
But in general, I think what I've learned about LinkedIn is that I believe make the assumption that the more you do on platform, the more you can do. It might not always suit your needs, but the more you can do on a platform with your content, the more chance you've got of getting boosted. They're investing in this technology to keep you on there and to make it easier for them to have good content. And that's the game plan.
Yeah. If you think about LinkedIn or Facebook, there are a lot of people who simply share links to content that takes you off that platform. And that's not what these platforms want. They want you to stay there. So if you're only posting links that take you to another website, they're not going to do well, and the algorithm's never going to favor you.
And actually in LinkedIn, they will penalize you for that. So instead of giving you a boost, if you put a native video on LinkedIn, they're going to give that a little boost compared to if you put a YouTube link in there, because now you've taken them off the platform. So, okay, great. Now, a couple of other questions. You might get to these a little bit later, and I can certainly share when we share the video we made. I'll tell folks what I used. But Mark asks, does the editing software allow you to add the captions or the headlines? So I haven't tried the Instagram editing software, but can it do those cool captions on there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And so this one right here, read my caption for what to do. There's just a little text button, and on the video that you're making, and you just click the text button and it allows you to put your text and edit it right there.
And then Donna asks, can you shoot a video and then bring it into Instagram and then edit it using their software, or do you need to shoot it actually when you're in the Instagram app?
You can bring anything else in.
Yep. And one thing, Michelle, that I'm getting used to is using editing apps on my phone. Like I am a big 3-screen guy with a mouse and all that type of stuff. And I found when I share this video that it can sometimes be challenging to you're learning something new. But once you kind of get it dialed in, now I'm sort of like, wow, this is really convenient. I don't have to download and email it to my computer and open my software. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mentioned at the end, but I'll tell you guys now, the best app for editing video right now on your phone is going to be Splice, Splice. There's a pro version and a free version. I spend the $10 a month on the pro version every month because I use it that often, and it's just super easy to work with.
And I'll drop that link into chat here. when I met with Michelle, I downloaded a few of the software apps that she recommended on my phone, and I played around with it. What I would say to folks is that none of us are gonna go from 0 to 60 overnight on this, and so we have the freedom to kind of do the free version for a while, maybe have 2 or 3 different apps and find the one that resonates best with you.
Yeah, my advice would be for these particular types of videos, stick with Instagram. Like I said, they put a lot of power behind their editor. And until you start to find that there's something that Instagram can't do that you want to do, like I can't get it to cut this part out here, then maybe you want to try Splice or another tool. But I think to start with Instagram. It's easy and it's going to help you get your feet wet.
And I believe that you can edit. You could create an edit in Instagram and then it automatically can be posted to Facebook. But I believe you can also download that and then put that up on your YouTube or
yes.
Yeah. So you can sort of use the Instagram as your current editor if you're sort of questioning how to do this stuff. Suzanne asks, is the video best made in vertical or horizontal format, or does it matter? Suzanne, great question, because I kind of learned a little bit about that. Michelle.
Yeah, so it depends on what platform you're using. But for Instagram, it's going to be portrait vertical that you want to shoot your videos in. If you shoot it the other way, or if you upload a video that's not sized correctly, one, you're going to be immediately penalized. The algorithm's not going to recognize your video. And two, it's just going to kind of look like you don't really get it yet. You don't know what you're doing. So it's very important that you shoot it in the right aspect ratio.
For the platform that you're on. Yeah.
For the platform that you're on. If you're on LinkedIn, you're going to want to shoot horizontally. That is what's optimized best on that particular screen. YouTube is also horizontal. Facebook and Instagram are vertical.
Yeah. And what I found that actually, I think if you're going to go one way or the other, go vertical, because the both LinkedIn and YouTube sort of adapt to that.
Yes.
And you've got, at least you got a video that you shot and you can just instantly put it on 4 different platforms if you're using those 4 platforms.
I 100% agree with you there, Steve, because LinkedIn, JK will share some of our reels on LinkedIn, and they're not sized perfectly, but they still perform well. And LinkedIn doesn't penalize you for it the same way that Instagram or Facebook will if you have the wrong size.
Yep. And let's see, Lewis is asking, how important is it to build a campaign of regular postings compared to one-offs? How often is it necessary to post? Really good questions, Lewis. And I think we're going to dive into some strategy stuff here in a bit.
Yeah, I'll answer that one really quick, and then I'll move on and just show you guys quickly the video examples that I made for y'all, and then we'll get to more strategy type questions because I want to leave plenty of time for that. It's really important. The algorithm recognizes how often you're posting and continues to feed people your posts as long as you're still feeding them. So if you want to try short form video, I'm not saying you have to post every day, but make a commitment to something. Try and post once a week. And if you make that commitment, see if you can stick with it for 3 months. And if you're able to do that, then maybe up it to twice a week and see what you can do. On my personal brands, I try and do a post every day and at least 2 videos a week. And that's what we do at JK as well.
Yeah. And one thing, and again, this is me and my LinkedIn training. One thing that I learned was that if you hit gold, meaning you get a a post that's got a lot of reaction on LinkedIn, let it breathe, like before you go and throw 3 more posts on top of that, because it's just getting some traction. And this is LinkedIn and their algorithm. And because what you'll see is sometimes folks will get a decent post, but then they'll throw 3 on top of that. And now their feed's not necessarily getting the one that was getting all the action. But I think in my talks with Michelle, strategy is very important. And I know we're gonna get into that, is that each of us is very unique. Why we're using social media and how it can benefit us is a lot different. For some of us, it's more of a branding and a relationship builder, where others is like with Michelle and her side gigs, it's actually ringing the cash register. I'm going to sell something when I'm on here. And in the senior living space, there's not many of us who are actually selling a product. And that's what makes using social media is a little bit more confusing.
Okay, let's move on to the examples that I created. And what I'm going to do is, Steve, maybe you'll have to either answer from the chat, or maybe you can just try and answer. But after I show you these videos, I was wondering if you guys could tell me which particular type of video you thought it was, whether it was the authority, the point of view, or the educational.
Okay, so it's authority, point of view, and educational.
Yes.
The 3 types. Okay.
All right, so let's start with this first one. And for this first one, this is a trending sound that I picked with it. This particular song is one that a lot of people are using. And you can tell on Instagram, in the lower left-hand corner of the screen is where they say what track is playing. And if there's a little arrow next to it, that indicates to you that it's trending. And if you pick a trending sound, that's going to make your video more likely to take off. So that's it. There's not a whole lot to it. As you can see, you just, took something that you might say to one of your clients and put it on there. You're reaching out to them emotionally, maybe someone who is facing something difficult that they haven't discussed with anyone is going to scroll and find this and find you and strike up a conversation. And it also allows you to become the subject matter expert.
Okay. So what were our 3 choices?
Point of view, educational, or the authority.
The authority. Okay, folks, anybody care to take a stab at point of view, educational, or the authority? Authority, we got one authority. And now it'd be interesting what I'm going to say when I see the next one, but so what is it, Michelle?
This one's actually the point of view. You're taking someone's point of view, someone's life situation, and trying to make them, trying to connect with them the same way that Trailer RV Life did.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. The next one is, I think, going to be
right.
a little bit more straightforward. We'll go to that one now. All right. Point of view, educational, or authority?
Let's see if anybody wants to throw their guess in there. We got one educational.
Ding, ding, ding.
We got educational. Yeah, got a bunch of educationals. All right, we got the educationals. All right. So
and
yeah,
Steve, I actually took one of your articles, and that's how I wrote this one. You had some bullets, some things you had, numbered out, and I just put that 3 benefits of moving after retirement, put those on the screen with text. And I actually downloaded this shot from a free iStock type video B-roll website, which you can do. And there you go.
That's awesome. And Lewis says education, but maybe you want to live further. You know, this is a great point, Lewis, because what I've found now that I'm aware of the short form video is educational authority, what have you. People are sharing a point of view. Sometimes it's almost better, like if you can get somebody motivated to come up with a contrarian point of view where they might type in, hey, I disagree with you. I mean, what do you think about that, Michelle? I mean, you got to be careful about your brand, but we want to create a conversation, right?
Yeah. So a big hook is and a hook is kind of that first line that you put at the very top before you start to get into your video. What is it that they like to say? They might say, it might just say something like, unpopular point of view, or you're really not going to like what I have to say. And then they say something controversial, and then it stirs up dialogue and it gets people chatting and it gets a lot of eyes on your video.
Yeah. But again, in our senior living space, we can't get totally crazy like the Instagram and sensations are out there. We've got to be careful with our brand and our message. All right. And so we got one last one here.
One last one. I forget how long this one is. So this one I didn't create. I came across her account and I thought it matched with a particular type, and you'll see how easy it is. And, you know, she's just having a conversation and put it up there. She's got her dog there. She's just got her Thursday thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Thursday thoughts with a pup in my lap for your day. If you're relocating a loved one to a senior living community and they keep mentioning how nervous they are, try to remember what it was like to go to school, or what that first day of school was like, when you're anticipating who you're going to sit with at lunch, or who you'll talk to, or if you're nervous that the teacher will like you. These are similar thoughts that so many of our clients experience when they are preparing to move to a senior living community. And I say that because they're nervous about making friends, and they're nervous about what to wear, and they're nervous about what people will think of them. And it's so important to remember that even though you're just trying to plan their move, to remind them that they will be loved and enjoy meeting new people and having lunch and dinner conversation with new friends, and it's all going to be okay.
Oh,
right. Yeah. So, as you can see, like, you know, there are a few things I might have done differently there. I think the dog was a little distracting, but for the most part, I just want to give her props for just doing a selfie, holding her camera out, sharing her thoughts, and posting a video. It probably took her less than 5 minutes to get that done. And she did her video and got it up there. And there's not that many people in this space doing that. So I would encourage you to do something similar. What type of video is this one?
Let's see, point of view.
Point of view, educational, or the authority?
Well, Peru says it's point of view and an authority amalgamation. And I, you know, authority, educational, authority, friendly, lots of different opinions on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of them are fair. I would say this one is the authority, just because it's straight to camera. And anytime you're going to be in front of the camera, showing your face, talking about something, you're setting yourself up as the authority.
Yep. And Elizabeth said she spent more time looking at the dog. And, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing if it's attracting you to something and you're listening to what they have to say. Okay. All right. Great examples there.
Yeah. So I hope that gave you guys a little bit more of an idea of what I'm talking about when I say short form video, my tips and tools in getting started. So if you haven't before, or you're not already, start consuming short form video. Pick a platform that you are the most comfortable with. I think Instagram has the most growth potential. I would not encourage TikTok to really make
I don't think
a
it's even
dent in the
relevant.
algorithm. Yeah, I
No,
wouldn't.
not for our, I think our segment is Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and then LinkedIn for professional networking.
Absolutely. That sounds perfectly right to me. And like I said early on, the great thing about Instagram and Facebook is that they're connected and you only have to do it once because it ports over to the other place automatically for you. So listen for those surrounding sounds and the types of formats. Number 2 is really important. Don't focus on vanity metrics. And what I mean when I say vanity metrics is how many likes or views that you're getting. I don't want you to be discouraged. Imagine if 40 people watch your video. If you were standing in a room in front of 40 people speaking, that would be a lot of people. So, they're not all going to be barn burners. I say that all the time at work. I probably can be overquoted as saying that, but they're just not all going to. On my personal feed, some days I get 200 and some days I get 3,000. For JK, I'm happy if we go over 1,000, but sometimes we get 10,000. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes they're under 1,000.
Yeah, it's also relevant to how many followers you have, so if you have 100 followers on your social media account and 20 people watch that video, that's pretty significant, and creating good content is the best way to grow that audience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is, I think in our business especially is that a lot of people are trying to jump in and solve a problem in our segment and then get out. It's not like they're going to be following us for their entire lifetime. We're solving a lot of people's problems short term.
Yep. All right. And then last tip, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Don't be hard on yourself. Try it out. And don't let they're called drafts. Don't let it sit in your draft folder in Instagram forever and ever. Just post it and see what happens.
Or delete it and start all over again. I mean, that's one thing that I've sort of found.
Yes. Tools. You don't need to go buy a fancy camera. Use your cell phone camera. Pick up a ring light if you think you're going to be doing that straight to camera. The Authority example that I talked about, a ring light is going to provide better lighting and just aesthetically look more professional if you do it that way. Or at least get in front of some natural lighting. You can do that by situating yourself in front of a window. Instagram, like I said, the in-app editor is very powerful and easy to use. And then if that's not enough, as you start to get comfortable, Splice is a great app. And I think other than one more thing I wanted to say is that it's going to be important if you have a small following to use hashtags and those trending sounds, because those are going to help you attract new people without only tapping into your followers.
These are great suggestions. And when Michelle talks about consuming short form video, I didn't realize that I was consuming short form video. I was on social media and I was watching all these short form videos, but not even realizing it. And so now that I'm aware of it, I am very much, looking at the content and thinking about how could you do something similar, or how could one of the folks in our positive aging community do something similar. And I think when you're intentional about this, you'll realize how almost the short form video is magnetizing. Like I said, I didn't even know I was consuming it, and I was consuming it. Okay. All right. So let's, do you have any more slides or are we ready
No, that's it.
for
That's it.
discussion? Okay. Well, folks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here because I want to show you a couple of things that I discovered, and this will relate to LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram as well. I didn't realize that I did a short form video. Let's see, when was it? It was almost a year ago. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so check this out. I went to a conference, the Aging Life Care Management Conference, and I saw this amazing filter. It's the and I'm going to turn that down. I didn't do any background noise. I didn't do any captions. I was just like so amazed by this thing. I shot this video and I put it up on LinkedIn. And as you will see here, we are at over 300,000 views on that video. So, and prior to that, if I had posted anything on LinkedIn, I was really excited about like 5,000 views. So that was my first short form video that got success, but I didn't sort of put two and two together at why, because of the simplicity of it, and people started reacting to it. And then let me show you the video that Michelle and I did for an event that we are getting ready for, but also for this discussion, because I wanted to be able to give you guys an example of doing something that might be relevant to all of us. Now, I'm showing this to you on our YouTube channel, but I did it on all the social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. But here is the short form video that we... Folks, are you tired of going to networking meetings where they have a so-called expert on the stage telling you what to do? Well, guess what? On October 12th at JK Moving, we are going to have an event with real people talking about the moves that they actually made to active adult communities, helping their mom move to a memory care community, and we can interact with them. So that's the first thing that you're going to get here. The second thing, the JK experts are going to tell us how to pack stuff, like how to pack a chandelier or move a refrigerator. And what I think is the best part about this event is that we're actually here in the JK training house that's in their warehouse. We're going to have this all set up. You're going to have free food. You're going to have networking. You're going to be able to connect with a lot of resources. Come on out, RSVP for October 12th, folks. All right. Are you tired of anyways, that I wanted to share that with y'all because that was my first sort of real short form video, and it took like maybe 10 minutes. Well, okay, the first thing that was cool is Michelle and I had a conversation. Let's shoot this video. Okay, we're going to promote this event. And I just told her off the top of my head what I wanted to say. And she was sort of like, you know what, why don't you start with the fact that instead of having speakers, you're going to have real people talking. And it made the wrap a lot more interesting and credible because we start right out with that. And so we played around with it a little bit. And then I think we took 3 or 4 takes maybe, and they were all, she did it on my phone. She just held it there. It was good lighting. And then that evening I went back to my house and sitting on the couch, I downloaded all these caption things and started playing around with it. And I found one that I liked to do those captions there. It's called Captions. And it took me like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I was just like, well, what the heck? Let me see how this looks. And I put it up there. Now, I know I can get more detailed and more complicated, but I want you all to think in the audience. I know a lot of you all do events, okay? and how hard and how ineffective is it I could never communicate what I was trying to communicate about that event on a piece of paper or through an email. In that 1-minute video, it was a lot easier to talk about the event that I'm involved with. And I could see a lot of our senior living providers doing something like that, where, and then you send the short form video out in email, you put it on your social media, you kind of use it as a brochure almost. So those are a couple of things there. Let me look at the questions. Okay, we're going to get to Lewis. How important is to build a campaign of regular postings? We talked about that. I think here's the thing. Don't get over your skis, okay? Like if you read a book and it says post something 5 times a week, you know, if you can't do that with your staff, then do what you can effectively with your staff. Michelle is a full-time social media person working for a company, so they've got a lot more resources devoted in this area. You spoke about wanting information to hold a viewer on your page instead of the link and to take the reader or viewer to another page. Can any of you talk about Medium? Are you familiar with this website? Thanks so much. I'm not familiar with Medium. Are you, Michelle?
A little bit. It was popular, I believe, I want to say at least 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of like a blogging site. It's you want to keep people on there with your content, and you post several blogs. I believe it's like creating your own little mini website, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I'm on it right now and I'll drop it into chat. But yeah, that's what it looks like. And here's the thing. What I would say is, you know, we all want to find the low-hanging fruit, okay, where we can make the biggest impact. And, you know, if I looked at this Medium blog and if it's very much like if the content's in alignment with your audience, then I could see jumping all over it. But I guess, you know, what we're talking about today is sort of finding the low-hanging fruit. We've got millions and millions of people on, you know, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. If we can create a strategy there, we're likely to run into more potential influence, I guess, right?
I totally agree. Go where the people are.
Okay. But that being said, let's say that you're writing a blog on Medium, you could probably repurpose that in other platforms. And who knows, maybe you can integrate video. I'm not familiar with Medium, but let's say you're doing a blog, you could have a little short form video maybe that you can add to that platform. Let's see, Mark asks, I assume most videos should be directed at adult children of seniors, not the seniors themselves or seniors on social media. Look, I think one thing that we've got to start doing is just like the whole topic of ageism is horrible, okay? Is that we draw these stereotypes, is that we know that there are older adults on all of these social media platforms. However, if we focus on the needs of our customer, is that you know, and we can create alternate messages for each of those audiences. But it would be worth it to assume that if your audience is, you know, 70 plus, that a lot of their decision, what is influencing their decision are the children, and it could be a way to reach them. Boy, I'm babbling there, Michelle.
No, I think you're right. I think you're more of an expert there than I am in terms of the demographics. But when I was thinking through the lens of your articles when I was creating the content, that's definitely who I was targeting.
Yeah. And as you get, like, one thing that I found that I've been really gotten good at over the years is talking to multiple audiences at once. And so, you might open a video or an article and say, whether you're planning for yourself or your loved ones, here are 5 tips, so then you've sort of covered your bases. Okay, this is a good one. Donna, I'm glad you asked this because I've had this happen to me too. The ring light shows in my glasses. Is there a way around that, or should I not worry about that? How do you deal with that?
So people like to say that there are tricks that you can tip the camera up a certain angle.
You can also tip your glasses, I think.
Yeah. You can hide it a little bit, but I wouldn't worry about it. People wear their glasses all the time. You see the ring light in them. I do selfies all the time, and I'm wearing my sunglasses and you can see the camera in my sunglasses. Nobody cares. It's okay.
It's authentic, actually.
Exactly.
I think if anything, it's sort of like, okay, she really did this, it's not, she doesn't some multi-million-dollar script writer writing this stuff and producing it for her. Trending sound. Is there some place to see what's trending? Yeah, Laura is asking on these trending sounds. I'd never heard of that either, but is there like a website that monitors trending sounds, or do you just sort of just manually do it there on Instagram?
So when you there are 2 ways to choose your sound. You can shoot your video first and upload it and add your text and everything that you want in the in-app editor. And then there's a music button. You can hit the music and add it after. And when you hit the music button, sort of a directory of all the songs is going to pop up, and it's going to allow you to either search for something specifically or just browse through, and that little arrow will be next to everything in the directory if it's trending, and you can kind of browse through that way. Or sometimes what happens to me is I'm scrolling through, watching my short form videos, and I'm like, wow, I really like that sound. Or I really like what they did with that trend there. I want to duplicate that. And so you can click on the track and it opens up or you could save it. I think that finding your audio by watching and consuming is another way to have success.
Okay. And now when you could introduce a non-trending sound into
Absolutely.
this and it becomes a trending sound. So so just because we're choosing trending sounds, it's not it's not
a requirement. It's helpful. I would do a healthy mix. I wouldn't do all original audio. I would incorporate trending sounds somehow, some way. But even if, I just did one where it was a voiceover but I put some music in the background just for that little extra boost. I dropped the level of the music all the way down so you could barely hear it, but it adds that complexity to the sound.
And Ruth asks, can I do this without having a website?
100%. I don't have a website for either of my small businesses. Instagram serves as the website. And I think that people used to have blogs, and they were very popular. And we see these influencers who had blogs. They were bloggers, not influencers. That's what they were called. And they don't have those blogs anymore. They have Instagram, and that's where they operate.
And what I've seen a lot of people doing lately, and probably you in the audience as well, is you type in somebody's website, and instead of going to a traditional looking website, you go to their Instagram or Facebook page or YouTube, for that matter. A lot of folks, but I wouldn't move in that direction like, oh, geez, well, I'm going to drop my website and do this, because again, things change. But having a website URL, that can be pointed in any direction. Okay, let's see. Desi says this has been helpful on information on social media. The glad Eve, you recognize the zine there. Jamie says, I was driving, but I want to say I found this discussion very helpful, even in listening mode. Okay, that's awesome, Jamie. And Judy says, I will say that TikTok has a lot of authority segments, but put the phone on the stand of some kind. Okay. Yeah. So like one thing
Mhm.
you can do is put your phone on a stand, press play, step back, but you can also hold it as well.
Yes. Yep. Your ring light, when you purchase it, they have them at Walmart, they have them on Amazon. They're relatively cheap, should have some sort of stand built into it that you just clip your phone into and it will hold it for you. I didn't say this, I meant to say this at my wrap up, but I am more than happy to help anyone, Steve, if they need anything. Feel free to pass my email out to anyone. If you find yourself getting started and you have questions or you're stuck somewhere, you're more than happy to have anyone reach out to me.
Oh, that's great. And I'm dropping your email into chat there. And then Michelle, I hope you'll come on October 12th to the networking event, because probably some of the people that are in the audience will be there. And
I will be there.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I have to say, folks, whether if you're on this call and you're in the DC metro market, I know some people are from much further away. You got to see this JK Moving warehouse and the house in the warehouse. But then what I mean, honest to God, that video, I really mean it. I am really trying my hardest to put more real people on the podium, is that listening to real people talk about their moves. It's at noon, 11:30 to 1 on October 12th, and I'll drop the RSVP into chat. But wow, look at that. Holy cow. We did an hour and 10 minutes, and we could probably do another hour and 10 minutes. This was a great discussion from my perspective, Michelle. And I think based on some of the comments that we've already got, that folks got a lot out of it. My eyes are much more open to the power of this short form video. And we may need to do a follow-up on this, I think.
Absolutely. There's so much more we could talk about. I love short form video. It's fun. Once you get over that intimidation factor, it's quite addicting. Just as addicting, as you start scrolling through them and watching them, you're going to start finding yourself saying, oh, I want to do that. I want to do one like that. It's a blast. I
agree. And like, folks, also feel free to reach out to me, because between me and Michelle, we might be able to help you, guide you through some creative thoughts. But the thing that I'm thinking about with this short form video is I can see where these short form videos of your residents, instead of I know we're all doing it, okay, because I'm on all your Facebook accounts, is we throw a bunch of photos of the painting class that you're having, which is wonderful. But imagine how powerful a 30-second video would be of, hey, Mrs. Smith, let's see what you're painting. Oh, here it is. This is the street that I grew up in back in, whenever.
That's so powerful.
No, I mean, it was absolutely amazing. And this can draw more older adults onto this, because just imagine the adult child is on Instagram and she's visiting mom. Mom, look at Shady Acres here. Look at what they're doing. You love that. Looks like your street. So be thinking about that stuff, folks. We can all crack the code together here. All right, Michelle, this has been wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun for me to put together, and I'm excited for this market to tap into this type of content.
Me too. All right, folks. We'll see you Wednesdays. Dr. Bill Thomas. Everybody try.